Have you ever heard that unmistakable sound of tires screeching on asphalt, smoke in the air, and cars sliding as if they were defying the laws of physics? That's right. What started as an underground practice on the mountain roads of Japan has now captured the hearts of millions of fans, brands, and drivers around the world. But how did it all begin? Who were the true pioneers of drifting? And how did something so rebellious become one of the most celebrated motorsports today? If you think drifting was born in video games or action movies, get ready to be surprised. The story is real, filled with legendary figures, dangerous curves, and a culture that redefined what it means to drive with style. In this video, we'll dive into the roots of drifting in Japan and follow its rise to global phenomenon. And, believe me, this journey is just as thrilling as a high-speed corner. The origin of drifting is directly tied to the winding mountain roads of Japan in the 1970s. On the legendary touge roads, a group of enthusiasts began experimenting with something beyond simple racing: the intentional control of a car sliding through corners. These street racers were known as hashiriya, and among them emerged a figure who would change everything: Keiichi Tsuchiya, the legendary drift king. Tsuchiya began his career in the underground scene, but his talent was undeniable. He mastered drifting techniques like no one else, especially the famous feint drift, where the driver flicks the car in one direction before a turn, then counter-steers, causing a perfectly controlled slide. His style drew so much attention that he became one of the first to use drifting in circuit racing, something almost sacrilegious at the time. His video, Drift Pluspy, released in the 1980s, went viral in the analog era and helped transform drifting into a legitimate movement within motorsports. Soon, what started as a street practice began making its way onto the track. In 1988, Japan held its first drifting competition. That paved the way for the creation of the D1 Grand Prix, the first professional drifting championship, founded in 2000. The D1 was a milestone not just for formalizing the sport, but for raising performance standards, demanding not only technical skill from drivers, but also style, precision, and charisma. By the 2000s, drifting began breaking out of Japan, driven by two main factors: the rise of JDM, Japanese domestic market culture in the West, and the massive influence of media, especially the film The Fast and the Furious, Tokyo Drift, 2006. The movie might not be the most accurate depiction of motorsports, but it was crucial in popularizing drifting with a new generation. Around the same time, official competitions began emerging in other countries. In the US, Formula Drift was born in 2004, bringing the spirit of Japanese competitions to the American market with adapted tracks and rules, but still focusing on visual performance and extreme car control. Formula Drift helped turn drivers like Chris Forsberg, Vaughn Gittin Jr., and Daigo Saito into global drifting celebrities. European drifting also gained traction, with major events like the Drift Masters European Championship bringing together talent from various countries and solidifying a strong, highly competitive scene. What's most fascinating is how drifting evolved beyond driving technique. Today it's a visual spectacle, a culture deeply rooted in fashion, music, and automotive design. From Itasha-style stickers on cars to flashy racing suits and the roar of turbocharged engines, it's all part of the experience. Technology has also played a vital role in this evolution. Modern drift cars feature electronic systems that aid in control, from hydraulic handbrakes, custom suspension setups, to advanced torque and traction management. On top of that, sim racing, with simulators like Assetto Corsa and iRacing, brought drifting into homes, letting thousands of fans practice and refine their skills virtually. In recent years, with the rise of social media, drifting found a new arena: digital content. Amateur and pro drivers now share onboard footage, create challenges, tutorials, and showcase incredible builds. Platforms like YouTube and Instagram have helped keep drifting relevant and alive, even during times when live events were limited. Like during the pandemic, today, drifting is more than a sport. It's a form of expression. It blends art and engineering, emotion and control, style and aggression. It breaks the mold in motorsport, where the winner isn't always the fastest, but the one who impresses the most, with control, angle, and of course, tons of smoke. And the most exciting part? We're still in the middle of this story. drifting, continues to grow, attracting new generations and constantly reinventing itself. With drifting going global, new branches of the culture have emerged that go far beyond competition. What was once seen as a marginal subculture of Japanese motorsport has transformed into a worldwide celebration of boldness, creativity, and pushing control to the limit. And this new chapter of drifting wouldn't have happened without the rise of major international leagues, the power of pop culture, and, of course, the cars, true characters in this story. In the United States, Formula Drift has established itself as the most popular league in the world. Since its founding in 2004, it has attracted drivers from all over and showcased an impressive evolution in both technique and aesthetics. What started as a garage sport is now treated with professionalism and million-dollar budgets. Entire teams fine-tune every detail, from engines to suspension, aerodynamics to appearance. Because in drifting, visual impact still matters just as much as performance. Names like Vaughn Gittin Jr. with his Ford Mustang RTR and Chris Forsberg driving heavily modified Nissans have become icons of the sport. And interestingly, despite what many may think, drifting isn't exclusive to Japanese cars. The JDM culture may have laid the foundation, but today you'll see everything from BMW 3 Series to Chevrolet Camaros, and even new generation Toyota Supras competing. The key lies in the balance of power, rear-wheel drive, and a good dose of control or madness, depending on your perspective. But drifting's impact goes far beyond the track. Pop culture played a massive role in launching global interest in the driving style. Films like The Fast and the Furious, Tokyo Drift, 2006, exposed mainstream audiences to what was happening on Japan's mountain roads. The image of cars sliding in sync, surrounded by neon lights, smoke, and electronic music became a symbol of a new era in car culture. More aesthetic, more daring, more in tune with youth. The anime series Initial D, which began in the 90s and gained global traction in the 2000s, was also essential in spreading drift culture. Based on real stories from the Japanese scene, it follows the journey of Takumi Fujiwara, a tofu delivery boy who becomes a legendary mountain racer, driving the simple yet iconic Toyota AE86. That car, in fact, became a cultural symbol, worshipped by enthusiasts around the world to this day. And you can't talk about drift cars without mentioning the Nissan Silvia, arguably the model most associated with the sport. Its S13, S14, and S15 generations left a mark on both the streets and the track. Lightweight, well-balanced, easy to modify, and rear-wheel drive. It was the perfect tool for those looking to master the art of the slide. The Silvia became practically the official chassis of underground drifting and early professional competitions. Its absence from the market since the 2000s has only elevated its legendary status. In fact, this lasting fascination with cars like the Silvia, AE86, and RX-7 has helped keep the spirit of drifting alive over the years. And even as electrification takes over the automotive world, there's cultural resistance within the drift scene. After all, how do you replace the noise, the visceral feedback and raw emotion of combustion? The debate is ongoing, but some drivers are already experimenting with adapted electric models, showing that even drifting might find its space in a technological future.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
Today, drifting is also experiencing a boom on social media. Platforms like YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram have become stages where amateur and pro drivers alike showcase their skills. Onboard cameras, 4K slow-motion shots, and even drone footage following cars through corners captivate millions worldwide. This has created a new generation of fans and drivers, many of whom started in simulators and now compete for real, like racers discovered through games like Assetto Corsa. Sim racing has become a fertile ground for learning. Games with ultra-realistic physics allow beginners to practice techniques like clutch kick, power over, and e-brake drifting before ever stepping into a real car. More than that, simulators act as social hubs, where communities exchange tips, organize online championships, and build friendships that carry over into the real world. And let's not forget about the events. Even those who don't compete get involved through car meets, themed events, and stunt shows. Festivals like the Goodwood Festival of Speed, SEMA Show, and Tokyo Auto Salon always include drift demonstrations. At its core, drifting was never about lap times. It's about spectacle. About showing that controlling chaos is an art, and that there's beauty in the smoke, the engine's roar, and the sideways glide of a machine dancing on the edge of grip. This unique blend of control and freedom is what keeps drifting alive and constantly evolving. Whether on a mountain pass, on the track, or in the digital world, drifting represents a culture in motion. Today, drifting is much more than just a driving technique. It's a living culture that keeps evolving without losing its roots. From the mountains of Japan to the world's biggest arenas, drift has proven that control can become spectacle, and technique can become art. It's fascinating to see how something born in the shadows of Japanese mountain roads has captured the hearts of millions around the globe. Drivers, fans, content creators, builders, and even brands all come together around this passion. A mix of noise, smoke, and incredible skill. And even with the challenges of the electric era, the spirit of drift remains untouchable, adaptable, vibrant, and always ready for the next corner. Today, whether it's on international stages like Formula Drift, in realistic games like Assetto Corsa, or at local meets and across social media, drifting continues to unite generations with the same essence that started it all. With courage, style, and that rebellious spark that makes everything more exciting. And now I want to hear from you. What was the moment that made you fall in love with drifting? Was it watching the AE86 take on mountain curves in Initial D? Was it your first time seeing Tokyo Drift? Or maybe that live competition that gave you chills with the driver's perfect sync? Let me know your story in the comments. Let's keep this conversation going. Because it's through shared ideas and mutual respect that car culture truly grows. And if you enjoyed this content, drop a like. It really helps support the channel and tells YouTube you want to see more videos like this. Also, make sure you're subscribed if you haven't already. Around here, it's all about real talk, in-depth info, and a true passion for cars, especially when it comes to legendary stories like drifting. Hit the bell, so you don't miss what's coming next. We've got a lot of great content on the way. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.